Hello again, students. Tonight we're going to talk about preparing to format your paper properly. It's a little early for that, of course. Most of you haven't quite finished writing yours, but when you do, you need a place to stick it. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. And to get us kicked off, I'm going to show you the two documents I'm working from. One is an article I found that just happened to be in APA format. So I have shamelessly copied and pasted out of it into my blank document because I am showing you how to format, nothing else. It's not about anything proper and it's not about the content. So just so you know, this is not my work. I stole it for this example. So please don't read it, just watch what we do with it. So let me pull those two out of the way. The next thing we're going to talk about is how to create a place that is perfect, or close to perfect as we can get. And the problem with this is the only way I know to do it correctly is in Word. And if you don't have Word, what you're going to have to do is find another way. You still have to follow all the rules, but it's going to be a bit tricky for you to get the formatting correct. So I'm sorry about that. You can see all kinds of documents that help you with the formatting, and I'll go through some of it tonight as well. But I do want you to know the easiest way to do it is to do it in Word. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do File, New, and then I'm going to search for a template. I'm going to look for APA, and in my search, 3 of them come up. Don't have a clue what that one is, but it's this one in the middle I'm going to use. I don't know. I think they're both the same. I clicked on it once. I'm going to click on Create, and there we go. That is my new document all ready for me to use. This is the document that I'm copying from. So in our scenario, this is the document that I've written my work in because I didn't want to focus on formatting. I wanted to get it down on paper, and I did. Now it's time to format. So let's get this off to the side so we can take a look at it. Okay, there's a couple of cleanup items we have to do here. Actually, there's several, quite a few maybe. First, let's take a look at the cover page. You have to have running head, and then you have to have a shortened title up to 50 characters that is in all caps. It's all set up. All I'm going to have to do is click on it and enter my data there, right there. But I'm not ready for that yet. The next section is where my title goes. Yes, I need one of those. The author name and the institution. Down here is something called author note that we are not going to use. This is not going to be part of our document. So I am going to click over here to the left click, and drag down just those 2 lines only and hit the delete key. And now I've cleaned up my cover. That's exactly the way the cover should be laid out and set up. So I have all my margins correct. I have my page number correct. I'm good. I'm good to go. The abstract page also looks good. There is some fake text in here. It's really explanatory text. There is the keywords, and see how it's indented, italicized, just like it's supposed to be. This is the only paragraph in the entire paper that's left aligned and starts on the first line being left aligned, no indentation. So it's kind of interesting. Then the body of the paper comes next. The template shows you how to do headings, and I will allow you to do level 1 headings if you need to in your paper, but I'm going to encourage you not to. Our papers are just short. 1,500 words is a rather short paper, and breaking it up into sections is just not that helpful, not that necessary. If you find it necessary for what you're doing, please use it, but don't go into multiple levels. So what I'm going to do for my paper is, again, left click, and then drag all the way down here to this little bit on the other page, on page 4, because all of that is part of the body, and I'm going to delete. Okay, so this is where my body is going to go. It will go on for several pages, of course, but it's all set up. And then the 4th page I have is set up for references. Now, it is set up to automatically allow you to add them I use this sometimes, but it's really problematic, especially when we're going back and making edits and all kinds of things. So I do not actually like to use this content holder here. So I'm going to show you what I do. But first, we have a little more cleanup to do. I'm going to go down and there's a section on footnotes. I don't want you to have footnotes in yours. We have tables. You can put tables in, but you don't need all that. There are figures. Nope, deleting that. I'm all the way down to the end. Again, I started with a click over here to the left of footnotes. I drug my mouse all the way down to the end. I'm going to hit the delete key, and I have what I want, 4 pages. I have the cover page properly formatted and laid out. I have the abstract page with all the elements I need there. I have the page where my body is going to start. And of course, it will go on for several pages. And then I have the references section. So I'm making progress here. But here's the last thing I want to do. I do not want references to be in this content holder. I want it to be something that I put in properly. So you can see that I have put my mouse outside of this gray box. If you can't see it, it's a flashing right there. And I'm going to type in the word references. Now it jumped down because it is formatting this. You see where the gray box is? It's formatting it to go outside of the box, but that's what I want. All right, and then the first one, I'm just going to put author 1 and author 2. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add a bunch of extra text because I want to make sure that the text alignment, wrapping, all of that stuff is perfect. So let me just copy that for several lines, and I'll do it here as well. All right, and I can see that this is not properly set up for a reference. So let's get rid of this section, and it takes a couple of steps. I'm going to click on these 3 dots here, and that selects everything, but when I hit delete, it just deletes the contents. So I'm going to try again. Click on the 3 dots, hit delete, and I got it. But now what happened was my references show up on my body page. What happened? Well, we need to use styles. So I'm clicking on the references. I have my home page selected. I'm going to do this drop down so I can see more styles, and I am looking for one called section header. Now when I mouse over it, it applies it. Let me move away. This is on the same page. It's indented. It's on the left. Nothing special. When I hold over section, it's starting on the next page. It is center aligned. That is exactly what I want. So I'm going to click to apply the section header style to references. All right, and now we have another problem. This is not properly aligned for a bibliography. And I can see right there, if you've got it spread out, you might even see it like I do, or you might have to click on this one to drop down, or there's one more on the Styles tab. There's a little drop down here that does a pop-up, which is very helpful. So I'm going to scroll down, and again, I just have to have my mouse in that somewhere. I don't have to have it all selected, but I want to click on bibliography. Look what happened. It left aligned the first line, and then it used hanging indent, so it indents the remaining lines by 1/2 inch. Perfect. I'm going to do that down here as well and click on bibliography to apply it. There we go. Now the drawback is when I do another one, it automatically defaults to normal style. So I'll have to continue doing this on all of the items that I put down here, but that's not that big of a deal. Author 3, and do that. Okay, I don't need my styles right now, so I'll go ahead and close this. I can always get back to it. And by golly, I am ready to start my paper. So I'm going to do a file save as, put this in a folder somewhere, and give it a name that I can remember. And I'll just call this my working model. All right, there we have it. Now, let's get some content in here. I'm going back to my other document, my raw data one, and I actually have a title. What I'm looking for, however, is a short title that only has 50 characters. Now I can highlight over this and count the characters. I'm going to click down here. The characters are 41 characters with no spaces or 48 characters with spaces. So I actually don't have to make my title shorter for this running head, but I can if I want to. So just to show you how that works, I will. You can see I'm clicking around and I can't seem to click on it. It's because that's in the header. So what I'm going to do is reach up here anywhere and double click. And now I am in the first page header. Perfect. That's what I needed. I don't want to start typing at the end or typing. I want to be careful. I have selected this entire thing just by a single click. One click, and that shows me exactly where I need my title to be. So for ease, I'm going to type in drone surveillance, and I'm not going to use all caps. I'm just going to type it in. Okay, that's a problem. It has to be all caps. In some versions, you may even get it where it will do that automatically. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on Word's quirkiness. But I can fix that. I'm going to highlight over those two words because I know it has to be all caps. Let me go to Home, and there is a section for working on the font. That's what I need to work on here. So I'll do the drop down, which is expanded out. Let me see what my options are. And I have one right here called All Caps. I want it both for the one that says Running Head, which is page 1, and for the rest of the pages as well. Let me see what happens when I click OK. It did apply at both places, which is very nice. So this running head with the lead in text running head is for page 1, but this one is carried on to all the additional pages automatically. That's great. That helps me out so much. So my header is done. Now, if you're doing this manually, you'll have to figure out a way to do that. It has to say running head on page 1. It does not say it on the rest of the pages, and all of them need to be in all caps. It also needs to have the page number at the top right. Mine is set up in the template, so you can see they automatically add, they automatically adjust. I don't have to do anything manual with them. Okay, the next thing I get to is to add the title, up to 12 words on 1 or 2 lines. Okay, so I need to select just this top line and type in my title. Now you can see when I selected it, all this gray at the top, that's because it has formatted it so that it sits down on the page where it needs to sit. The APA rule is that it needs to be about 1/3 of the way down the page. That's where the title starts. I'm just going to copy and paste my title in, but there's a trick to that. If you look over here on the right, you'll see that I'm using a font that is not Times New Roman. Or I can use my font drop down and see, this is Calibri. This is my typical font, but I have to have it in Times New Roman, a 12 size, in order to qualify for the APA. What am I going to do? Well, I have my title selected, and I'm using Control-C to copy. You guys can do whatever you like. There's a lot of ways, but go ahead and copy that. And then I get over here, and I don't want to paste. I want to paste. It will be this clipboard with an A on it. And if you see what it says when I mouse over it, it says keep the text only. That says don't give me the formatting, don't give me the color, don't give me the font size, just give me the text and use the font that I have set up, Times New Roman 12. So I'm going to click. And there is my title put in this place, formatted properly. Now here's another trick. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see some versions actually will carry that title down here. This one doesn't. So I'm going to have to do this one more time. Paste. It's still on my clipboard. So once again, I'm going to paste, keep text only. So this is pasting text. And there we go. I have my titles set in the only places they need to be for this paper. So this would be a great time to go ahead and save again. However, I have autosave turned on, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do encourage you to save regularly. The next thing says, put the author's name here, first, middle initial, last, and omit titles and degrees. So no Dr. Amaya, no PhD. This would just be my name. So I will type in my proper name. And there we go. I'm the author. The next line says, give me the institutional affiliation. This is Old Dominion University. And the first page of my report is complete. It is set up, it is spaced out properly, properly formatted, all the right information. I'm going to get the first few points for this assignment complete and full points because I did this properly. Now we're going to the abstract page. At the top it says abstract. That is required. Do not change it. Do not, make something else. Don't add to it. But I do need to change this first paragraph. That is my abstract. So what am I going to do? I'm going to paste text only in here. So let's switch back over. That's my abstract section. I'll go ahead and choose it. Being careful not to choose too much. I don't want extra spaces or extra returns at the end, anything. I just want the text. Copy. Right click. Look for this keep text only and paste it. There we go. That's my abstract. Drones, also known as unmanned vehicles, aerial vehicles, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. The next line has keywords. It is italicized. It is indented. This is all exactly right. So I go back. Do I have keywords? Yes, I've got them identified here. I have, looks like 4 of them. They're, again, not necessarily words. They can be terms like surveillance drones. So I'll go ahead and copy that back over to this paper. Highlight just where I want it to paste, and I can right click, paste text only. 2 pages knocked out. Now it is time for my content. And it just so happens that I have totally written my content. And of course, I admitted to you before that this is stolen. But I will go ahead and pretend like this was all the work that I did and copy it. I'm going to come here, right click, and keep the text only, hit that button, and I have a perfectly formatted document all set up and ready to go. Again, on page 3, there's my title where it should be. The first paragraph is indented. The paragraphs are double spaced. I have formatting. I have references. I have all kinds of things. This, I can see a problem here. This person that wrote this paragraph, it is so long. It is way too long. Where is the next paragraph? Let's see what starts paragraph 2. I'm going to show you my mistakes. We need to work on this together. So paragraph 2 starts with a space in which. Let's see if we find that. Yeah, it looks like my paragraphs didn't come through. That's funny. Let me go back. I'm doing Control F because I need to find that phrase, a space in which. Give it a minute. And there we go. For some reason, it threw all this into one long paragraph, and I need my paragraph break. So I'll just hit return. What's the next paragraph? It is current research in surveillance. Again, I'm searching because I need to put those in. Current research in surveillance. Okay. Go to the beginning there, hit enter. It is indeed indented like it should be. It is still double spaced like it should be. It's working well. What is the next one? The surveillance grid. So let's see if we can find grid. Oh, too many of those. Oh, well, there it happens to be. So I usually try to look for the shortest term, but let me do 2 words. Surveillance grid. Okay, I still got a couple of hits there. It looks like 3 results, but I'm going to choose the surveillance grid requires. Enter. And I should have another one, the comparison of drones B. Let's see if I just see it. Yeah, the comparisons of the drones. The next one is in the out-of-the-box form. Scrolling down a little bit. Tell me if you see it. Oh, just kidding. I can't hear you. All right, we'll do out of the box. In the out-of-the-box form, enter. And one more paragraph break. The conformance of vehicular traffic. Here it is. Enter. Okay, done. A couple of things to make note of here. First of all, the page numbers. You can see that as I insert pages, they automatically increment. You can see down here the references, which was page 4, is now automatically page 9. Just remember to watch for those things if you are doing this totally manually. You will need to pay attention to those things and find a way to work them. All right, now we're getting to the last section, which is a little bit tricky. And this is a great place, again, to go ahead and save your document. But you can see, let's see how long my document is. I asked for 1,500 words just in the body. So that doesn't include the headers. It doesn't include the abstract, and it doesn't include the references. So I'm going to start my selection there, and I'm mousing down to the end, and I can see that my document is a little bit long, 1,669 words in the body. Okay, I've met the requirement of the course. And now it is time for the last section, and that is our references. Now this one, like I said, can be a bit tricky, but I'll go ahead and highlight all the references and we'll see what happens. I'll copy, I'll come over here, and I will highlight all of these, and I will, again, paste text only, and let's see what happened. Look at that. It kept my formatting. These are formatted properly. They are double-spaced. They are left aligned. They have no indent on the first line, but they are a hanging indent because the second line and other lines are indented. What is missing here is the italics. Whenever you copy and paste, you do lose the italics. So you've got to come through here and figure out where they belong. If this was a book, it would be the book title. It's not. It is a journal article, so it is this part of it that needs to be italicized. I just highlight it and turn on the italics. Now remember, if you copy these out of, Google Scholar or something like that, they take a real close shot, pretty much like we did on the copy and paste, at getting them right, but they miss a lot of things. I look at all the spellings, I look at the spacings, I look at the paragraphs, I look for periods at the end. Let's get to the end. There it is. I look for proper italics. I've got that. It stops right here, and then it's not italicized. You've got another video for that. I think I'll go ahead and continue working on cleaning this up, but I am almost done with my first pass of this paper. And it turns out that a 1,600 word paper for me is about 10 pages, so that's good to know. But basically, that is how you use a template, get it set up, and put your information into it. It's a great way to not have to worry about formatting, spacing, all of those kinds of things. You want Word to work for you, to help you out on this, so that whenever you submit this document to me, you are confident about all of those things. So proper formatting is one of those key elements in having a good rhetorical situation. And remember, rhetoric is maybe argumentation, but it's not arguments like you have with mom or like you have with your cousin. These are arguments that say, I have information to share that I want to argue. That is a good, strong argument. So for rhetoric, we have the three primary legs that kind of build that. One is ethos, which is the credibility, the trust. And you build ethos by citing properly, citing well, and using resources that are strong. Pathos is about emotions, imagination, those kind of things. And you use that in the word choices you use. You want to stay away from things that carrying people on to the extremes. You want to try to kind of mainstream your emotions in it, but you do want them to shine through in certain places. You want them to see that which items you feel strongly about in the word choices you use and how much you depend on those sections of your paper. And then there's the logos, which is logic, organization, consistency, those kind of things. And that's where the formatting is really, really strong. Whenever your reader looks past your paper and gets into the content, and that's what they focus on, then you've done your job well. Whew, this was a long one. All right, so I hope this helped you out. You are welcome to contact me if you need help with any pieces or parts of it, but this is the basics of how to get a good formatted document ready to submit to me on that first pass when you are ready to submit your major project. Best of luck. Call me if you need me.